Crawling out of your skin. Yes. Johnny wants to talk about always feeling like you're crawling out of your skin. Yeah. Wanting to crawl out of my skin. Wanting to crawl out. Is there a difference? Well, I suppose so. I suppose you could be unwillingly crawling out of your own skin. Right. When is crawling out of your skin a good feeling? Well, it emergence is good. Emergence is good. Right. Okay. So, how did we come upon this topic that we started talking about? And I said, let's film. We just John just put me through my paces, like some really painful repetition work for my upper and lower body, and it was particularly painful this morning. I slept in an uncomfortable position. I was in a very deep sleep, but it was not the best position for me. And usually he'll wake me up, whether I want to be woken up or not, if he knows that the position is going to do a number on me ultimately, right? What it is a cut off circulation in both of her wrists. She had her wrists bent. Oh, okay. And but she was so deeply in a slumber that I did not have the heart to wake her up. And then finally I thought, well, this has gone too far. Right. So he woke me up, and I was in terrible pain from my forearms up through my shoulders because my blood wasn't circulating right, and so he made me get up and do like a whole bunch of different reps for my upper and lower body. I was doing step yoga blocks, pulling bands. It was particularly painful. It was kind of brutal and horrible. Sometimes the workout feels really good and your body feels really good while you're doing it. I was like almost screaming during this one. And but I knew it was necessary, and the reason I knew it was necessary was because he won't make me do that unless it's important. So he's very matter of fact. He's just like, let's go, let's go, let's go. It'll be done in a minute. It'll be fine. And then we ended it up with some deep tissue massage, which is always like a big relief, and I feel better. Definitely feel better having some tea. But I said to John, um, were you ever uncomfortable? Were you ever? You always appeared to be so comfortable in your body, and graceful and in good shape. Slim and trim and floating around almost like a dancer would. And he said, "What did you say?" I said, "Looks can be very deceiving. I was always crawling out of my own skin. That's what you were seeing, really, for the most part." Was me really being very uncomfortable in my own skin and just never feeling. I always felt watched. I always felt observed, even by the people that worked in my home. I didn't like having people work in my home, and mother had a staff, felt like a staff of hundreds. And someone was always milling about, and I was always kind of jumpy and looking over my shoulder. But and of course, that was in my own home. So, of course, once I hit the streets, I tried to appear like Mr. Casual Charlie, strolling about with my baby or whatnot. But for the most part, I was very uncomfortable. The only times the last few years of my life when I could be laying out in the sun on the private property on Long Island, the last year or so, that was a comfortable time. But some part of you, it's like an animal. It's like an animal that's trained to be on guard. Some part of you is always looking around. Ugh. But you weren't in pain. No, it's a form of pain, and it is. It's a form of your nervous system. It gets to be shot, which is where the crawling out of your own skin comes into play, right? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's terrible. That's terrible. But like you weren't like I was this morning, like screaming in pain. No, except when I was. Now I do that plenty now with you. Yeah, right. I absorb. I'm absorbing half of it. So there's nothing you feel that I haven't felt, down to the last detail of your life. Think of the most painful things that have happened to you, and I was right there, shouldering half of it. So you can just imagine. Ooh, God. Ugh. Yeah. Wow. So the impact that I was absorbing was always just like half of what it actually was. Yeah, you could say that. Yes, indeed. And vice versa, however you want to look at it. So, where do we get into the crawling? Good morning, mother and father. The crawling. This is mother and father speaking. Yeah, the crawling out of your own skin. The way we see it, is that you never. The skin is a temporary vessel. So really, it's kind of normal that you're trapped in this body for your duration down here. And those of you who are seers, like you and John are, that sensation is kind of the norm because you're so high in the vibration. You're born that way. You've had so many incarnations, and you've been in soul form so many times, and then thrown back down to earth. Well, I shouldn't say thrown back down, but you've elected to go back down and take on a body again. And so that feeling, is the crawling out of your skin. You're tired of that body. And the older and the more decrepit the body gets, and the more aches and pains you experience within the body, and the more the body wears and tears, the less you want anything to do with it after a while. I mean, you love it. I know, Lena, that you love your body, and John loved his body. That you do, and you did. Sometimes you've loved it more than other times, but, and you're grateful for your body. We know that. You don't have to keep apologizing for your feelings. It's completely natural to be tired of being in that body, though, as well. I remember feeling tired of being in my body when I was like fucking 4 years old. I swear to God. Yeah. Well, for you real fundamental seers, that is a common phenomenon. So yeah, crawling out of your own skin, it's uncomfortable. And the more sensitive you are as an empath, the more you're going to contend with that. But here's the good news. You have each other to bounce it off of now. Yeah, right. You have this kindred spirit, and we're here too, right? But you have your John, and he has you, and you can like compare notes on it, and sort of it makes it better, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, I wouldn't even be able to. I wouldn't be able to do these workouts without him screaming in my corner, because he knows it's what my body needs. And there was a time when you were really on top of that. A couple of decades back, you were a fitness maven, and you were really on top of that, and you knew what that body needed. But nowadays I have to 909. Nowadays I have to pick up the slack and push. I gotta push you, and I'm out here to do that. I'm your cheering squad. I'm right next to you. I'm right beside you, and that's the good news. And believe it or not, you kept me going back in 1975, 6, 7, 8. What about before that? Well, there was, the heroin years. I'm noticing online that people really like coming down on me about doing heroin. And also, I want to say this while we're here. All right. Because we saw a couple of posts on this today on the Facebook. Yeah. And they really come down on Yoko. She got him on heroin. She did all that. Nobody could control me. I have said this a million times, and I don't know why nobody ever believed me in interviews and elsewhere. I did what I felt I wanted to do, or what I felt I needed to do. That woman couldn't get me on or off anything. She couldn't. Nobody could, and not even Lena can. What we do together. Yes, we work things out and we talk about things together, and sometimes we argue about it until we come to a decision on how to handle our situation, or the body, as we call Lena's form now. But, Mother could not control me or get me on dope. I was a full blown volunteer to the experience. I beg people to, if they want to talk about me being weak minded, it's no fucking easy task getting off of that shit. But I did it. Pretty quickly, too. But nobody gives me fucking credit for that. They act like I stayed on heroin for the rest of my life till I fucking crossed over, right? And that Yoko got me hooked on it. God damn her, right? She ruined the greatest guy in the world with her very finagling and powerful ways. Yeah, amazing. They just want to hate her so much that it's like, throw all common sense to the fucking dogs. And also throw any kind of credit for me being a strong person. I'm a fucking strong person. I know, John. Oh, he was so weak, he was so confused. Mommy left him when he was small, he never recovered, and then crazy witch woman came in and put him on dope, and it was terrible. What a horrible mess that guy was. What a pathetic piece of fucking work. But a genius singer-songwriter, amazing. It's too bad that everything happened like that he was so weak that he fell apart and he lost his fucking mind. And so, yeah. Very good. Good point. I like that you're talking about that this morning. And, we posted also on Quora today a timely repeat of Mother Yoko channeling Lena at Sweet Toronto. Very plain to see that there is, even if, and we were both on junk at that time, me and her, and I call it junk. Heroin is junk. It really is. It deserves that name. But you know what? It's what we were doing. And you know what? We were still functioning. We were still functioning, both of us. I'd like to see anybody else get up on stage and do that if they're non-functioning people and they don't know how to fucking get on with their lives. We did that show with like zero rehearsal and on heroin too at the same time. I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying this is take another look, people, with your judgmental bullshit. And would you leave that woman, Yoko, alone? Just shut your mouths already. How many fucking decades have passed? She's a good woman. Better than all he has put together out there. Thanks, Sean. Very well said, honey. Yeah, very well said. That makes me crawl out of my skin, hearing that fucking garbage and seeing that garbage on the internet every minute. Leave her alone. It's not going to happen, I guess. People love a soap opera and they love making up their own stupid stories, so that's what it's all about. Oh, gee, he would have been so great with May Pang. His whole life would have been fantastic hanging out with that dribbling idiot. That one. What, so I can watch her paint her nails all fucking day? Really? What do you think I had in common with that girl? Let's take a guess. And then once we've got finished doing that every few minutes every day, it was like, oh, geez. Talk about crawling out of my skin. Right. Then I was like, okay, now I got to deal with it for the rest of the day. Got the stuff, the fucking out of the way. Oh, my God. Well, I ain't proud of this stuff. But, let's be realistic. Like the one guy from the UK said, the one guy with the brain on Facebook, let's face it, she was just his bit on the side. Yoko had nothing against it because she knew there was no threat there. Nobody fucking remembers that detail of it. And you know, it's an ugly little story. Oh, boo-hoo. The 22-year-old girl got sad because she didn't get to marry Mr. Beetle. Oh, boo-hoo. She's also telling lies out there, saying that I told her on the phone. I wish you were having my baby and not Yoko. When the world announced that Yoko, when we announced that Yoko was pregnant to the world with Shawnee, she's actually claiming that I called her on the phone and said, "Oh, I wish this was your baby." What a disgusting thing to say. Which it's not true. How do you think my fucking son Sean should feel hearing something like that? And how do you think that his mother would feel hearing something like that? Oh, yeah, okay, she's 90. She's still alive, but a little bit feeble and kind of quiet now out there in the country. But, you're going to act like she's doesn't exist, and you're going to say something disgusting like that. And not only that, it's a lie. I never would say something like that. Never. Certainly not to her. And the public is all like, "Oh my God, that poor girl. Here's another terrible detail of how shit-heeled Johnny made her feel so bad." Oy vey. Yeah. Wow, you got a lot to say today. Yeah. Crawling out. The topic was what? Crawling out of our skin, right? Oh boy. This is the stuff that makes me crawl out of my skin. Or crawl out of Lena's skin. Hey, the kitty got up. We can use the yoga ring. Let's go. Oh, you're kidding. Nope. Give me some reps, baby. All right. Look, I love you. We got to get up. We're going to make a stir fry today. Nothing fancy, but I want to do some scalloped. I want to do like an Irish stir fry. Potatoes, scalloped potatoes, and shredded cabbage. I got a nice recipe. It'll be easy peasy, and by the time we get you up and in the chair, it's gonna be a snap. All right, honey. Okay? Yeah. Love you. Love you too. Praise be God, Mother. Let's get a bell. Off we go.